and welcome back. So we just got 40 axolotls in, so we have axolotls everywhere. Because my axolotl tank with the chiller already had baby fish in it and we weren't expecting these guys and we got 24 hours notice, happy days, we have set up an emergency tank for them using established water and established biomedia. So in this video I'm going to show you how to set up an axolotl tank, what substrate to use, how to filter the tank, how to cool the tank down, because they are a cold water amphibian. So axolotls don't actually turn into a salamander, which is like an aquatic frog type lizard. They stay in this stage their whole entire life. But useful axolotl information in this video. We do currently have axolotls available, so contact me on social media. Unfortunately, we can't post them, so it is Brisbane pickup, but they have just arrived. How cool do they look? So lots and lots of axolotls. Let's go to the tank setup part. So this has got to be the most silly place to set up a tank, but we're kind of run out of room and I can't put the axolotls in the 4-foot tank we've got now because there's baby fish in there. And to catch out about 500 baby fish when I've only got a few hours to do stuff is not going to happen right now. So this is our temporary tank setup. So all you need is a glass tank, obviously. You want something in between, like a polystyrene foam, which is, so if you don't have something like foam underneath, with the heat and the cool, the glass will shrink and expand differently than the wood will, and that can actually crack the tank. Make sure that your base is safe as well, and there's not really, see how we get a little bit of a wobble? You want to just pack a few legs to make sure it's completely level. You'll need a chiller, because we're in southeast Queensland. It is freezing at the moment, but in here, we are heated in here. It's still mid-20s and stuff like that. So chiller is going to bring our temperature down to about 18, 19 degrees. We have a canister filter. You want circulation in there, but you don't want a huge, powerful turnover of water because the axolotls do not like tons and tons of movement because they sort of sit there and look pretty. Pretend that's an axolotl. So we have a canister filter that is 2,000 litres an hour, which sounds like a lot, but it has to come out of the tank, through the chiller, back in the pipes, and then back in the tank. So we're probably only going to have about 700 litres an hour going through a 250 litre tank. So that's only about 2.5 times turnover, which is perfect for axolotls. Also has a spray bar, which will show you setting all that up soon, which means that you're not jetting water around, it's just evenly pushing the water back up. So you've got your chiller, you've got your filter. So your filter is going to filter the tank and pump water through the chiller, which is like a mini refrigeration unit, and then pump the water back in. Chemical stuff for the water, because our water is quite alkaline. We have something called an acid buffer, which lowers the pH, alters the KH a little bit, which is the mineral content and all that wonderful stuff in the water. We have a dechlorinator. Any brand will work fine. Prime is just an easy to use one. Don't use very much. One capful does 200 litres, and then we have a little pH test kit. So axolotls like about a neutral pH. You don't want the water going too acidic, and our tap water being about 7.8 all the way up to 8 or so randomly. It's going to be a bit too alkaline for them, and the lower the pH, the less toxic ammonia will be, so it pays you just to get around that sort of neutral pH for axolotls. So we are going to use established water, established filter media in this canister, so it's technically going to be an instant setup. Normally what you would do is spend a week balancing your pH, so you'd fill your tank up with water, get your sand in there, get your filter going, your chiller going, check your pH, should be alkaline, slowly bring it down by a little bit of acid buffer each day, chlorinate it once, and then after about 5 days it should be stable about 7. Add some good nitrifying bacteria, and then you've got a 6-week cycle, which means growing bacteria. But we are going to cheat. We're going to do this in an hour or two using established water and established bacteria. So then when the axolotls go in tomorrow and they produce chemical waste, the bacteria is already there to eat their chemical waste. So let's jump to set up all this wonderful stuff. And I'm back with one hand and talking. So we are going to unbox our chiller. So we have our canister filter, we have media from the other tank in there. We're going to use the same water from the other tank system as well. I have water in the tank. That is from one of our other tanks. We have our chiller there. We have our tubing going behind this tank because this is temporary and it's totally in the way. So we have our canister filter there. So what the canister filter is going to do is going to pump water from this tank into here through your filter media. It's going to pump it around there. That's going to go into the chiller, and then it's going to come back and then go into the spray bar. So to get a canister filter working, that is empty at the moment, you have this little nozzle here, and you're going to push that down so the water siphons into this. So that is water now siphoning from the tank into here. So probably can't hear that, but this is slowly filling up with water. So we want it to sort of give it a few little shakes while it's filling up, because you'll get air bubbles and stuff trapped in there. And you don't want the air bubbles in the impeller well, otherwise when you turn it on, it's going to go whir, 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 and it's not really going to pump much water. But after about a minute or so, so we'll probably fast forward this bit, but we're going to see the water come out of there. So let's speed up and watch this. And that was the water coming out of that pipe. So now the water is going from the tank into the filter, into the chiller, and then that'll fill up, and then we'll see the water coming back up this pipe. And it's going to stop at about our water level, which is about there. So at the moment it's just water going through here. We can just, oh, there it goes. So we've got our water level, and it will eventually stop at about there. So we're going to turn this on. It's going to go whir, whir, whir. And we have our filter turned off. That is our spray bar there. We are going to fill the water up a little bit more so it doesn't sound like a deafening sparkle, like that. That is our chiller there. So currently we're at 20.8, 20.7. It is going down. Oh, 20.8, 20.7. It is currently chilling. We've got it set at 19 degrees. So if we go around this side, there is our canister. So if we give it a couple of gentle shakes, the bubbles coming out, you want to get all those bubbles out. And the way to test to see if it's actually working properly is you turn the canister filter off and turn it back on. If it continues to pump water, you're fine. If you turn it off and air bubbles come out, and then you turn it back on and it doesn't work, you're going to have to try and get all that air out again. But you can just do the same little valvey thing up and down to flush the water through. But that is how you set up a canister filter. They're not that hard to do. Lots of different brands and models. This is an Orca brand, but any other one that you're not sure about, if you Google the brand, I'm sure you'll find someone setting it up for you. But that is where we are now. So, a little bit murky, not too bad, but that is established water. So we're going to let that clear overnight, double check the pH and all that, make sure there's no ammonia in there. We're going to add more nitrifying bacteria to our system. And then in the morning, it should be happily down to about 19 degrees. So we're still at 20.7, but it is currently cooling. There is our axolotl tank. We will jump to axolotls tomorrow. And it is the next day. We are at 18.4. There is our tank. We have logs, we have rocks, we have things for them to crawl under. We have our canister filter all going fine. Check the pH is at about 7.1, which is pretty perfect. Don't have any ammonia, which obviously we shouldn't. When we put the axolotls in, we will add some nitrifying bacteria, even though there is established media in the canister filter, and everything will be happy, happy, happy. But that is where we are now. We've just got a low wattage, normal T5 tube, T8, T8, T5, T5, T8. There's a T8 tube, which is just the diameter of the tube. And we are waiting for the axolotls. So when I come back, there will be axolotls. So hopefully that was vaguely exciting. Oh, he's going for air, he's going for air. Bloop. So if you like this video, click the thumbs up if you want to see more cool videos about how to set up tanks for different types of fish and amphibians and wonderful stuff like that. Yes, subscribe and all that wonderful stuff. And we will see you in the next video. How cool are they? Axolotl.